Cornel already. You know what? Boom. There's also a gem. You can make your own gem. There's a gem called Wangtron up there. You can find the docs for it. It does nothing, right? It just like, it just says like you got gains. That's like all it says. Great. And look at all of these things that you can do, right? You can like make a new model. You can make a controller. What does that really mean? Well, let's find out. Let's generate a brand new app. There's a command called Cornel, followed by the new, followed by whatever app name you want. So we are going to build an association today, an associated object. So does anyone have an idea of just an app you would like to build today, right? Like, I don't know, I'm blanking. So there's like squirrels and nests, but we don't have to do that. What is a fun app you would like to build? Anything with a one-to-many association. That's all we really need, just one-to-many. It is really fun. That's my lecture, huh? One-to-many, right? Like, man, last time we did like kids and parties, right? Like there's a party that has many kids, right? And a kid goes to a party, so it belongs to a party. That was pretty fun. We did something like Murder Face. I think, was that your? No, it's class before. We did something called Murder Face where it was like costumes and people. I don't know. But any idea? Just a one-to-many relationship. Any one-to-many. Huh? If you say books and authors, I'm going to shut that down. Right? We're past that. What was it? Shake Shack Finder. What? I'm sorry, what? And a Shake Shack belongs to a user? I like where your head's at, and I like the idea. Does anyone else have an idea? Yo, you let me down, Charlie. Allie, let me down. What's going on? Any one-to-many, right?
A user can have many pictures, but a picture belongs to a single person.
Okay, so let's build Instagram. Cool. You guys want to build it? So like a user has many pictures, and a picture belongs to a user. That didn't sound enthusiastic. User. Okay. Do you guys want to build Instagram? Or do you want to build something else? Do you guys want to? Let's go to flavortown, right? A user can eat many foods, and a food is eaten by a user, right? You want to go to flavortown? All right, let's go to flavortown. It's clowns over here. All right. Don't worry, flavortown's great. So Cornel new, and then app name. Cool. So I can simply do Cornel new, and then the app name like flavortown. Unless you want me to build Instagram. You want to build this like picture thing? Picture thing? Yeah. Flavortown. Okay, Flavortown. Okay, do you guys know what Flavortown is? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh man. These memes are amazing. Yeah, this guy right here. Oh yeah, look at this guy. Anytime he eats something, he like grossly over exaggerates what he eats, and he's always like, And then when he talks about his food, he's like, ooh, I'm gonna go to Flavortown. He's gonna eat these like nachos. Like, either way, cool. So we're going to Flavortown. Great. So what it did for me is I have this Cornel new, right? Flavortown. And it literally created all of these files. It's just a command line application. Because you can see all it did was it puts, right? Create. Followed by the file that it made. And all the create is always highlighted in green. Some of you already know how to use the color and ASCII art in terms of like the command line. And that's all it really did, right? So now let's take a look at what it built. All right, if I ls, I see a new folder called Flavortown, which makes sense because all of my files are built under this subfolder of Flavortown, whatever I name the app. So let's cd into it. Cool. What's the first thing I should do when I have like a brand new sort of Ruby application? Bundle install is the absolutely correct answer. So we should bundle. All right. And let's also open up the files. Cool? This and means that I'm going to do both of these commands, one after another. So first it's going to bundle, And all it's going to do is it's going to bundle install everything I need, and then it's going to open Atom. Wow. Right? So, let's see what it built for us. Boop, 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 boop. Look at this. Magic, right? Application controller, amazing. Look at these models, nothing. Views, you have some sort of welcome. I see some sort of Sinatra template, cool. You have like a public folder that holds images, some JavaScript you'll learn about, some styles, your config.ru, amazing. Your gem file. And what's the difference between gem file and gem file lock again? What's the difference between gem file and gem file lock? Great, so your gem file is actually all the gems that your application needs to run. When you run bundle install, right, notice how this active record says use anything in the 4.2 series, specifically if it's greater than or equal to 4.2.6. So 4.2.7, 4.2.8, 4.2.9, and then not 3 though, right? 4.3 is trash, don't use that, cool? That's what this is saying. So naturally, inside your gem file, it is significantly larger because some dependencies have dependencies. So when you run bundle, it locks the version that you're on. So notice how I don't have a particular version for thin or shotgun or even bcrypt or pry. That means it will pull the latest one, and then it will lock my files to those exact versions. In the lock, you should always see a version next to what it is that you're using. And this is useful because if I bundle install and I ship this code to production, that means anyone using this will have to be on these exact versions. Cool? That way there isn't this like weird environment issues, which I'm sure some of you already ran into, right? Who's run into some environment issues? Bundler has come a long way, but it's not perfect. But that's what's happening, all right? So let's take a look. We have an application controller. We have some views, right? What is this? Get to slash. It's a route, right? Well, what is slash? Something like the home page, right? Literally like slash nothing. So how do I start this server? Oh, you guys are so like unexcited about it. Shotgun. There we go. How do I start the server? Shotgun, right? It becomes less fun in Rails because then it's like Rails S. You're like, ah. So whenever I'm teaching Sinatra, I get really excited for like 3 days. I'm like, shotgun, cool. So it says that I'm listening on port 9393. So boop, boop, boop. Just gonna go, oh, look at this guy. The mayor of Flavortown over here. What? All right, so let's go to localhost 9393. Specifically to the route of slash. If I leave slash off, it's implied, which kind of why you can think of it as your home page. So I'm just gonna go to get slash to be a little bit more explicit. And then it took it off for me. Oh my God. You guys run this error? Something wrong with this. Yeah. It doesn't like that. I knew I was going to run into this clown. All right, cool. So I can go to my gem file. And where is SQLite 3? Great. I want to force it to go to, actually, boop, boop, boop. Yep. So watch this in action. Ready? 1.36. Cool? Oops, just kidding. Oop. Great. And then now that I've changed that, I should probably rebundle, right? Actually, yeah, it'll override it, see? It says was 1.4, but now 1.13. I guess, I don't know, it didn't like 1.36. Either way. Questions on that? You should probably blast your gem file lock and then rebundle, but I know bundle will override it if it detects any changes. Shotgun! Let's see what happens. Thank good. Right? That's good. Look at this. 2019 Flavortown copyright. And this template comes up. Why does this template come up? Well, let's take a look, right? When I did a get to slash, it literally said, render this ERB, welcome. Where can I find this ERB welcome? Where can I find the view for ERB welcome? Views, right? So let's take a look. I see a bunch of HTML here, but typically what I'm looking for is Sinatra template default. Welcome to the Sinatra template. Great. There's some sort of like link here, and it says README, environment stuff. Awesome. If I go back, that's exactly what I'm seeing here, which makes sense, right? Sinatra template default, and then the exact text with a link to a README. All right. So far, so good with this Sinatra. Awesome. Great. So that is what is known as a generator. It will generate files for you. That's not terribly difficult to follow, yeah? Cool. All right. Now, we need to actually create this relationship, right? And that is going to be foods and users. Yeah. So, what do you need to build in this like app to establish this? How do you establish a relationship in Active Record? This is mod 1 stuff. How do you establish a relationship between two of these blanks, these things, models, right? So I can, and this is what you've probably done, go inside your models. You've pressed A, which is a cool shortcut, and it will, you can just do like food, right? .rb or something like that. And then it will create this food file for you. Then you'll have to go in there, and you'll have to like class food, inherit from like Active Record, something like that, blah, 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 and it's kind of confusing. So I'm pretty lazy, I'm just gonna admit it, I keeps it real. Is there a way for me to generate this model? Well, let's look at the docs. Wow, it's amazing. There's a way to generate a model. And how do I do it? Corneal model, and then I put in what I can assume now is the model name, right? So let's do that. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I have Corneal, right? Let me just put this side by side for you. Bloop. Corneal model. And then what is the model name? What are the two models that we have in our example? Right? We have food, probably capital F-O-O-D. Cool. Powerful. And then we have another model. What is that? User, right? Or like people, or like hungry people, whatever you want to name this, right? I'd probably call it like hungry man or hungry person. I don't know. Either way, great. And all it did was it literally generated two files for me. It generated a models, food.rb, and it generated a migration for me. That is money. So money. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this model. Wow. Already inheriting from Active Record base. I don't have to memorize this sort of thing. But what's more important is, do you know what pulling in and inheriting from Active Record base does? Yes, right? That's really what's important. And so you'll start to see memorizing syntax is not important. It is the understanding of what's going on. If I didn't have mod 1 as a baseline and somebody literally said, hey, run this command in your terminal, and it's like Corneal model and then whatever your model name is, and then I opened it and I saw this, I'd be like, what is that doing? Great, give me 3 weeks. I'll explain this to you, right? And so that's kind of what this baseline is. Each mod is like a step up with an inherent understanding of what's going on from the previous mod. So, user as well, and then I have this migration. Cool, right? So, what is inside, what are the attributes of my food model? What is this? Is this the t.name over here? Wow, so good. So, and how do I do this? Colon name. Cool. Is there any other attributes of food? Huh? Category? Calories. Wow. All right. Is that a string? Cool. Calories. Anything else? What's the relationship between food and user? Does a food belong to a user? Or does a user belong to a food? All it does is it tells you all the food you've eaten. God, what a great app. You laugh, but that's what fitness tracker apps do. It's like, oh, I ate pasta today. That's 300 calories. It's $1 million idea. So, what else? All right, cool. What's the relationship? Food and user. Food has many users? Or does the food belong to a user? I think it's food belongs to a user, right? Because like one person like eats this particular food. And then you get like, it gets like hairy, right? When it comes to like sharing food. Like I ate the pasta, but you also ate the pasta. Like, oh, let's chill out, don't worry. For right now, we're all savages. I don't share. If I see ice cream in front of me, you ain't getting none, cool? So, how do I establish this relationship, right? If a food belongs to a user, should I put the foreign key here or should I put it in user? Who says it should go into food? If a food belongs to a user, the foreign key should go in food. Who thinks that? All right. Here's the idea. Well, the idea is that, boop, boop, boop. And what is this again? So smart. All right, here's the idea behind this. All right. If a food belongs to a user, think through this. At some point, you will probably write code like this, right? Food.create or food.new, and you will say name is, I don't know, hot dog. It's getting close to lunch, all right? I'm getting hungry. So then you have calories, and you will say 1 because we live in this amazing calorie-free world. 0. Diet hot dog, right? And then, naturally, if a food belongs to a user, you have to know which user this food belongs to. Does that make sense? Like I'm creating this new food object. I have to tell it which user it belongs to. So I have to have the foreign key, right, on the belongs to. The foreign key goes on the belongs to. Don't try memorizing that. It's just a good rule of thumb. But the foreign key goes on the belongs to because it has to. If a user has many foods, why would you put a foreign key on the has many? Think about it. If I can eat pasta, hot dogs, SpaghettiOs, I'm a child, cereal, and I put the foreign key on there, putting the foreign key indicates how many. I'm sorry, you probably can't see me. I'm just 1, right? But if I have many, and I can only put 1 on there, does that make sense? Thank you. Right, no. So that's just the idea of how you can think about that, and like sort of the general rule of thumb, right? Sweet. So this is done. Let's go to user. Let's not get crazy. T.string, and this user has a nickname. I don't like using name all the time, so we'll just use nickname. Cool. What happens after? I've created these migrations. I've edited them. What should I do now? All right, I'm just gonna migrate. Bloop. Done. How can I tell if this successfully migrated? Well, yeah, I can check the schema and if there are no errors. So this is actually my ORM, what my database is mapped to. How can I test this database? All right, I can go into the console. Oh, I don't think it gives me a console. The rake file, right? How do we do this? Does anyone remember? Yeah. All right, let's check this out. Ready? Create a rake task. I forgot the syntax. Just like we all will. Boop, boop, boop. Great. No, that wasn't great at all. I didn't like that. How to write a custom rake task. That's it. Give me that. Cool. Right? You see what I'm saying? Like you don't really need this, right? Describe, and that's going to be start a console word emoji, right? Shh, it's a secret. Cool. If anyone wants to know how to do that, it's Command Control Spacebar. It'll bring up this like emoji thing. Cool. Anything could be an emoji, your git commit messages, anything. Don't use emojis in your git commit messages. I should not have said that. So the task is the console, and all it's going to do is it's going to literally start a new pry session. I can check to see if this was done. I can go rake-t and check all my tasks. I should see rake console and what it does. Boop. So rake console. Boop. Boom, there it is, right? How can I check to see my models? User dot all, right? Should return what? Like an empty array, right? I can do user dot create with a nickname, and who is it? Who has like a cool nickname? What? T-Dog? Welcome to downtown Coolsville, right? Wow, that was embarrassing. Cool. Does anyone else have like a nickname? Macho Nacho, right? Yeah, Macho Nacho, right? Cool, great. So we have these two users, right? Let's create some other food. How do I do that? Smort, food.create, and what are the attributes? Cool. So we have a name, right? What's the first food you want to make?
Cheese fries.
Attaboy.
2,000 calories.
Let's go with, sure. It's your entire recommended daily value, right? And who ate this? Macho Nacho or T-Dog? Obviously. Hundo P. Oh, just kidding. I'm embarrassed. Boop, boop. Boop. Great. What else do we want to make? Uh-huh. Y'all done? Just cheese fries? Embarrassing. Snake oil? What? Oh, steak. Steak oil, right? Cool. And how many calories is this steak? 600? I'm never cooking with this. And who ate this? Obviously. Cool. Good deal, right? Dunzino. Right? So how can I check the relationships? T-Dog.foods? What is T-Dog right now? There we go. I have to actually get the user instance, right? So I can either do like a find with the ID of 1, or I can just check what's the first user in my database, typically. So user.first gives me T-Dog, and what is T-Dog's foods? Right? Will this work? Absolutely not. No way. Because there's an undefined method foods. Why would that be? Why is this method of foods not defined? Bless up this class, right? Right? We haven't linked, oh, embarrassing. We haven't linked it yet. And where would I link it? Do I link it in the controller? Do I link it in the model? Cool. So I need to do something like food, what? I need to make some method like def user or something like that? Wow. 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 Cool. And what is this? Cool. So now we can go right back and we can check. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And there it is. And we should also check, oh, not dudes. Oh, did it again. Food.first.user. Can I put users or user? Who says S? Okay, cool. It's not. So here's why. This is literally the method you're defining. A method called foods. Right? So if I were to go back and see user.first.foods, it's because has many defines a method called foods on your user class. And what that does is it goes through and searches for all of the foods that has the foreign key that is triple equal to the user ID. You did this in the code challenge. I don't know how you're here. You're scaring me. Yes, no? 2 people. Great. All right, awesome. Good enough. No, just kidding, right? So like the idea is that that's what it does for you under the hood. So if I put food, it will error out. And wow, look at this error message. Did you mean foods? Smart. And so that's what's going on. And then you name it here because it makes sense. Like if I put has many food, does that make sense to you? All right, this user has many food. You'd be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. All right? Cool. So what else do we do? We have the models. We've got the database all wired up. We've got the migrations. They're set up. They're tested, the relationships. What is next? All right. Well, let's think. We have M, V, and C. Did we do M? Great. Did we do V? No, we didn't, right? Did we do C? No. The idea here is now I have to do V or C. Which one should I do first? Who says C? Who says V? So can anyone tell me why we want to build the controller first? That's exactly correct, right? It's the link between the two. So yesterday we had this amazing lecture by Charlie, right? Bless up. Charlie's in the back. I know. Yeah. Right? And then you'll also get an amazing lecture by Jeff. And what we talked about was that the controller is that server, right? Is the server that goes between the model and the view. So it doesn't make sense to kind of build this view without the controller. Are you following me? Like the controller will literally serve up the view. So without the controller, how do I even know or understand what views to kind of build? So the idea is it has to kind of be the controller. So, I'm not very bright, but I'm very lazy. And I don't want to write this controller from scratch. I understand that there was a generator for the model. What can I then probably infer? Pray hands, right? Yes. There was a generator for the controller. If there was not, this is the first time in your development sort of experience where, man, this would be such a good user experience. You have a generator for a model, but you don't have a generator for a controller. I would go up to the top, see this issue tab, click it, and I would literally put new issue, and I would say, man, look at this, champ, and say, please make a generator for controller. Please, right? I would like add a comment, and then I would submit the issue, and then the developer would kind of get it. This is how you can start contributing to open source, and it will help build your credibility as a developer. Cool? Like you can look at anyone's commits in their history, and you can see what they've been working on. And so that when you interview, trust me when I tell you, the people interviewing you will troll through your GitHub just to see what you've been working on. They'll take a look at your projects, and this is why it's important to kind of build out portfolio projects here and have good commit messages. Some of you, when, not this class, but when they finish the code challenge, it'd be like, yo, done, son. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Or they'll have less PG-13 commit messages. Don't do that, right? It's like on the internet, it has your name on it. But you can put a little style and flair into it if you want to. But the general idea is that that's like your brand online. Cool? So as much as you can, try keeping it professional and try keeping it specific. Right? Like completed code challenge, something like that. I know it's like a slight tangent, but was that cool? Is that all right? Yes? Awesome. So let's look at this. Wow. Generate controller. Yeah? So I can, in fact, get into Cornel controller, And what are the controllers that I need? Or just one, or what? Yep. Foods. Yeah, foods. I need a foods controller. Cool. So controllers are plural, models are singular. And then I will also need a user. Yep, users. This class is so good. A users controller. Wow, it built a lot of things for me here. Let's take a look. Foods controller. Already inherits from Apple. God, bless up these generators. Bless. Cool. It's good to have it at this point because you should at this point understand what's going on, right? I shouldn't have to, at this lecture, explain a get to slash foods, being what RESTful route? A get to slash food is what RESTful route? Okay, all right, that didn't work. Get is the HTTP verb, and that's awesome. So HTTP verb is get, and that specifies the type of internet request, and that is simply I'm going to get information. However, when it comes to REST, this will be the index because it's designed to show me all of the foods. All right, so you can imagine in this request, right, two things happen. Oops, that's JavaScript. Two things happen. What does the controller do? It's a waiter, right? And it interfaces between the model and the view. So here I need to talk to my model. Do I need anything from the model? Yeah, and that is going to be something like food.all. Cool. And how do I actually give a response? What is the response? It's going to be this foods index HTML file, right? But how do I get food.all into this view page? I need to create an instance. Therefore, @foods will exist inside this response. Cool? So, what is foods new as a RESTful route? New, right? It's new. Remember, the new is simply the form. And then what is post/foods? Create, right? So let's go over the RESTful routes one more time. So I want to see all my blank. That sounds wrong. All my foods, right? Then I want to see one particular super mega awesome all deets of one thing food yes yeet, right? And that is going to be the show page. So far so good. So if I need to be able to create something, how many RESTful routes do you think it takes to create something? 1, 2, 3, or 4? 2, right? Why? Right. Who creates the food? The user creates the food, right? And the user needs to tell the server what food he or she ate, yes? How does the user send information back to the server? Right? Through the form, right? There's no gets.chomp on the internet, right? Like we're past this, right? The user will submit a form with data that goes to the server. So first, the user has to have some sort of form to submit the data, right? So user needs a form to send data over. And then the user, right, will submit that form. So when a user sends data, right, they need this form. They need to be able to see the form. And they need to be able to get the form. What kind of HTTP verb or request do you think this will be? to simply get the form? Wow, yes, it's a GET request, right? Because you're just asking for information. And then when the user submits the form and is sending data over to the server, what type of HTTP verb would this be? Amazing. So if I'm going to create something, I need how many requests? 2, right? I need to see the form, and then I need to submit the form. Any questions? Awesome. So naturally, what is this again? What is it, like food/5? The restful route. What is food/5? The restful route. Yeah, it's going to be the one particular super mega awesome, all the deets of one thing found, food found, yes, yeet. Right? This will be the show. Cool. I know this because I'm simply getting information. Does the user submit information to see the particular details? Let's say you're on Instagram, right? Log on to Instagram. Are you familiar with this? I'm trying to be cool and hip. You familiar with Instagram? Yes, if I talk about this, I'm not like losing the reference. Okay, one person understands Instagram. Bad example, I'm sorry. Let's just say you're on, yes, Instagram, yes? Help me out here. Help me help you, yeah? All right, cool. When you first log in, right, what do you see? You see like all of these pictures. Cool, you press the little home button, you see like 9, maybe 12 pictures if your phone's big, right? Oh, thank you. Right, yes, right? If I'm seeing more than one, right, some generic bunch, right, what route do you think I'm hitting? I'm hitting index, and I'm getting a bunch, like all of these photos. But if you put your cute, perfectly manicured, very clean fingernail finger on one of them and you click it, how many pictures do you see? Yes, 1, right? 1. So that would be what type of route? What type of route here? Come on, help me out here. Yeah? Very good. One particular one. And when you're on the index, do you see the comments, the number of likes, all the details of that photo? No. When do you see how many people liked your photo and how many amazing, cool, great photo comments? When do you see that? Do you see that on the index or the show page? So would you say that the show page has one particular super mega awesome, all the deets of that particular thing? Photo, yes, yeet, right? So the show is designed to show you all the details. Cool? Is this starting to solidify? You got to hammer rest into your brains for a little bit. Yeah? Great. Moving on. How do I actually see this? How do I do a get to /foods? How does this happen? Right. This is the actual literal route. So if I were to go back here, and I were to go to /foods, embarrassing. Shotgun, right? Cool. There it is. This is the models index page. Wow, why are there no details on here? Because I didn't put those deets in there, obviously, right? So a get to /foods gives me all the foods. I have access to this @foods instance variable. And then it sends this response, /foods/index. Where would I find /foods/index? /foods/index. Cool? Are there any questions as to how I got that file? Great. Let's go back to the foods controller. You guys like that? That little split screen action? Cool. I have access to something called @foods, right? So on my index, I can simply do @foods.each do with a particular food, right? And then I can do the food.name and just display the name. I shouldn't be displaying a lot of information because as we've very clearly discussed, the index, do you show a lot of details on the index? Typically not, right? Why did this not highlight? Why did this not highlight? Yes, But more specifically, because this is a HTML file. Cool. Oh, whoa, that didn't work out. Oh, hello. HTML file, right? And this, it looked like a Ruby, right? So I need to add the squids. Cool. Squids, God. All right, you could say squids to me, but I'm going to be referring to these things as ice cream cones. Okay?
It's not the same thing. These are ice cream cones, but the other is squid.
All right, okay. So for there to be absolutely no confusion, I will now default to the technical language, and that is the Ruby interpolation. Cool. The squid. Cool. Great, and now it's highlighting, right? Which makes me happy, which makes sense. So does everyone understand how I got to @foods here, what I'm doing here, and how I got this? Awesome. So I should see what? Cheese fries and steak oil. Delicious. Right? So far, so good? Great. And then naturally, on my show page, what should I be doing? Right. I need some sort of food.find. All right. With what? Who is confused on params? Great. Let me explain real quick, right? Oops, not lid. Oops, not OD. Great. Here's what happens. Notice how the user didn't necessarily submit any data in this GET request, right? The user didn't submit any data. But there is data coming in with this colon. And so this ID is going to be interpolated as whatever the browser thinks it is. So for example, let's get rid of this for a second. Oop, let's get rid of this for a second. Food/ID. Have you ever been to a website where you've been like foods/ID? Right? But you've probably been to some website where it's like food/4 or food/2. Right? What's happening here is 2 is being sent over as the parameters of what you're searching for. So because I've named this ID, I could have named this ya boy if I wanted to, and then I can drop a, it's not actually use a pry, right? Not by bug? Cool. What do you think will happen when I do a /foods/whatever? Let's check. /foods, let's do this. Let's bring this up. Cool. If I do /foods/1 and I get this, I will hit this exact route and then I will pause my code. Cool. So what are params? Ya boy 1. What can we infer about where params come from? The URL, right? So naturally, if I put instead Charlie, what do you think params would come across as? Charlie as the key, right? Where do you think this 1 came from? Where do you think that 1 came from? One more time. Where did that 1 come from? Right? From what? The URL. So, therefore, if I put Charlie and I brought this back, I can do Charlie. Because params at a key of Charlie would be 1. So far, so good? Does Charlie make sense to use here? Yes, Charlie's makes sense to use everywhere. Charlie's the best. But we're going to use ID, because not everyone knows Charlie. Shame on them, right? And this is where it comes from. So it will interpolate as like the number 1 or the number 2. So when I do food.find, I'm passing in 1 or 2 or 3. Right? Thank you. Yeah, I babysat my niece recently, and I watched some Sesame Street. The count is the best. All right, so does that make sense now? Param's a little bit clearer on just sort of like how it's coming through. Awesome. So, how many is this? Should I be doing at foods again? How many is this? Should I be doing at foods again? Cool. Right? And that's kind of where this idea comes from. And then naturally inside my show, I should be doing at food dot name. So something like name, right? And then you have like is it fatty? And then you have at food.calories, but it's not highlighting again. I probably need the squids. I really liked your class up until that moment. I did. I really did. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you could do that. It's fine. And then there's another category, right? Who ate me? And then you have at food dot. Does that work? Let's find out. Let's find out. Bloop. Just kidding, yeah. Who ate me? 2. Ugh, what a terrible user experience. Who is this 2? Who does number 2 work for? I'm a bit on the older side. It's from this movie, Austin Powers. Either way, great. That's a terrible user experience, right? Like this sort of 2 idea. How can we possibly fix that? I can find, right? So do I want to run the find inside the view? Why? Here's why, right? So the rule is definitely the view should not be touching the database, right? It should be the controller always interacting with the database. Here's why. The user sees what's on this page, right? Do you trust everyone you have never met in your life? Wrong answer. The answer is yes. But do you trust internet trolls? Probably not, right? So when you do .find, does that touch your database? Yes. Do you want the user to ever be able to do something that touches or experiences something that touches your database directly? Do not put your model in your view. Yeah? Yes? Does everyone understand why? Cool. Believe it or not, there are some bad people in the world. I didn't believe it for a long time. I still don't believe it, but that's what I'm told. Innocence. So what I can do is I can do at food, right? What is this? .user ID, something like that? Gives me what? 2, right? Something like that. Can I do user.find with this? Yeah? Ja? Ja, 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 ja? Cool. So what, oh, that's not gonna work, great. And so what is this now? Right? User that ate me. Cool. I can name anything I want, right? Instance variables are cool like that. And it will grab that user instance. So far, so good? So, bloop. Do I have access to that inside the show? Great. Let's take a look. Do you like that? Very good. User that ate me. Is this okay? What comes up actually? Thank you. Yes, .name. But what comes up? Actually, I didn't expect that. Usually it's like this like hash object that doesn't render anything, but either way, cool. Ooh, what happened?
You should save the thing.
Oh, did I not save the controller? Oh, I didn't save the controller. Embarrassing. Cool. Undefined method name. Why? There we go. Smart. Macho Nacho. Powerful. Does everyone kind of understand this logic that I can do anything I want in the controller? It's not only for this at foods equals food.all. There's extra things. There's any logic I want to put inside. Cool? Is everyone like scared because I'm yelling at you? I'm just used to like lecturing. This is my lecture style. A little different from Mike Chang, who's also very powerful, and Alex. I would imagine a little different. Cool. All right. Great. Let's make a brand new food, right? Because we could do that. You should hear the weird things that people say when they're like talking to each other in code. One time I had like a tree class, and I was like, man, I'm gonna just make 1,000 orange trees. And like someone on the subway was like, what? I was like, don't worry, I'm an engineer. It's weird. Either way, cool. So, how can I make something new? What route should I hit if I want to? What route should I hit if I want to make something, a new food? If I want to make a new food, what route should I hit? Try again. Food/new, right? Very good. So, where would I put that? Right, food/new. Smart. Great. Now I need to do what? Is this acceptable? What should I do? What should I do here? Wow. I should probably insert a form. Where do I want to insert that form? In the layout? In the welcome? New what? I should insert the form in what file? Views, foods, new, right? How did we get there? Magic? No, we got here because in the ERB it specifically said food/new. Here's how I can prove it. Ready? You guys like that? Yeah, no, that's a bad experience. Cool. Ready? If I were to say, instead of food/new, I were to put foods/anything I want, haha, Wang, sorry, just haha, right? Where do you think it's going to look for? Is it going to break? It's probably going to look for, under my foods folder, a file called anything I want, haha, right? Do I have that? No, right? Can I make it though? Oop, again, sorry. It's my name, all right? Bullies. Bullies. Cool. Oh, that didn't work. Interesting. Why is this not highlighting? Exactly. Cool. I hope you know that sometimes I make these mistakes on purpose and sometimes I don't. You'll never know. So, bullies, right? Now that I see that foods new actually renders something called anything I want, will this render if I go to food/new? It's looking for HTML. Embarrassing. You have to like, all right, Rails doesn't, this doesn't matter in Rails, but in Sinatra it will. Cool. Bullies. Bunch of bullies, right? Does everyone understand that you can do anything you want? Watch this. Ready? If I want to go to food/new, not even new, ready? Make new food. Food/make new food. How would I get to this route? Food/bullies. Right? Does everyone understand this power of like this custom routing? Understand RESTful routing? What it does, it's a convention, but you can break out of it. You can make anything you want. Cool? Did I just like unlock some doors for some of you? Or not, you guys are all better than that. Cool, got it. So what we'll do is we'll follow convention for now. But the idea is that you can do anything you want. Yeah? Yes? Awesome. Great. So I'm back at new HTML, right? And it says specifically to do what? Why do I need to put a form here? I need to receive that user's input, right? So look at this. Like that? Great. Great. Cool. If you just type in a tag and you press tab, it will like auto-fill the rest in. This is why we don't write code in like Microsoft Word, you know? Or a text editor. Like you use like Atom or Sublime, Visual Studio, because of things like this, right? Imagine going up and opening a Word doc and be like form tab, and then all this comes up. Essays would be weird. All right, so what does class do? It's typically for styling. And some other stuff you do it with JavaScript, but for right now, do we need to be concerned about that? Bloop. All right, what does this form do? Does it do a GET request? It does a what kind of request? Does a what kind of request? What kind of post? Thank you, right? Post. So far, so good? And it's gonna post to where? Does it post to /foods right now? No, I wanted to hit this create action as I've clearly explained earlier. This is where the server will actually create the information in the database. So how do I get to a post to hit this route? What do I need to change this action to? /foods, right? Now a post to /foods would hit what route? This create route, right? This post route. If I did post to Jeff Huang, right? Will it hit this route? No. What can I do now instead? Post to Jeff Huang, right? And that will do something. And now I will hit this. Whoops. You'd be surprised how hard it is to type and talk. It's really embarrassing. Does everyone understand that if I post to Jeff Huang, I will hit this route I just created? Bless up. Bless up. Word. Right? I watched Lego Batman as well, and it was just a lot of nonsense in that movie. Either way, right? Does everyone understand that I control where this form goes, I control the routes, I control the actions. And when I say I mean you. And by you, I mean we, right? We. That sounded communist, but either way. Good, just kidding. So do I need this, really? No, right? So I'm gonna get rid of it, but I'm gonna leave it in your code because it's fun, right? And where should this actually post to? /foods, right? I keep emphasizing this /foods because at some point, if you forget the slash, it can kind of break your code because it won't know where to go. There's a difference between this and this. So if you say foods and I go /foods, it's because I'm just trying to get you to emphasize the importance so that you don't forget it later. Cool? Great. What are the three things that I have in food? I have a name, right? And that is going to be name, right? And what else do I have? Calories. And then what else? What is this? User ID. Cool. And then this is just going to be a submit because you don't want to forget your submit button. That would be embarrassing. I've done that before. And let's take a look. Is this going to work? Make new food? Why? Because I deleted it. It's deleted. So how do I actually get here again? /food/new, right? Bloop. Cool. This is what a terrible user experience. Let's add some labels. A label tag, right? A label for name. And then this is going to be name that food. And there it is. Cool. And then if you really want to make it like real sexy, then you can just add some line breaks in here. And then you can keep going, right? I'm lazy. You should be using these labels, but for right now, I'm just going to put cals. All right? And I'll explain here in a second why. And then which one ate it? Let's put a funny face in here. Doggo, right? Throw up emoji. Cool. Right? So let's take a look. Right? Okay. Label is really for like accessibility and screen readers. If I just hard code text like this, a screen reader will not be able to understand that this input is actually for how many calories are in there. So you want to use your label tags. I just want to move this lecture along a little bit, so I'm not going to do that. Does everyone understand? Cool. So just because it looks great doesn't necessarily mean that it's like efficient, effective, or the right way to do it. Ask your friendly neighborhood instructor. Cool? Is there any questions? All right, great. So when I submit, where will this form submit to? Who says post/foods? There, thank you. Yeah, great. Just waiting for the rest of the class. Cool. Right? Post/foods. Right? And it'll simply redirect to foods. It will literally do nothing right now except a redirect. So far, so good? So let's pause this bad boy. Boop. Up, boop, up, boop. Right? So, does everyone understand why I put this binding? I'm going to test when I submit this, it should hit this route, and it's going to pause. Every time I write some code, I should test. Right? I want to keep that feedback loop short. So naturally, when I refresh, and I put a lot of weird stuff in here. Name that food, Charizard. How many calories? 0. And who ate it? Okay, sure. Pikachu ate Charizard. I don't know what world you live in, but it's a cool one, right? So if I hit submit, where should it submit to? Where should it submit to? Great. And then I should see what? Wow. What do I want to check here? Right? And I get name Charizard, calories 0, user ID Pikachu. Is that good enough to create a food? If I were to just, is that good enough to create a food? Why not? What do you mean user ID can't be Pikachu? Can it be? No, it can't. It needs to be an integer, right? As we specified in the schema, as we specified in the database. So we need to be able to change this to like a number field. And this should be a number field as well. So let's do that. Input type text for the, what is this? The name, Input type text for the calories. Is that a little better? Let's change this to number. Does that work? And let's change this to number. Oh, I'm in the binding. Embarrassing. Great. And now I see that it's a number field because I have this here. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. And I cannot write any text in here because it's a number field, but numbers work. Cool? Did you see that? That magic? Great. Does everyone understand how I kind of got there? All right, let's do this. These are just line breaks so that I can see this a little bit cleaner. Is that better? So, is anyone confused as to this text and this number field? All right, what I really want is to put in some sort of food in here, right? Charmander. Calories, I don't know, it's a level 1 Pokemon, 3, right? As they evolve, their calories go up. And then which one ate it, right? As we've identified, this is a number, so I should be putting like a 3 or 1 in here. And then if I hit submit, I can check my params, and I will get the proper data. So in theory, I can do food.create, and do I have to type in all of this, like name, blah, blah, blah? Can I just throw in parameters? Yes, right? Boom! There it is, food number 3. Cool? Yes? Eat. Right? I just made a new food. The Charmander. TM. Don't steal it. So, what can we say about this form in regards to a user experience, right? It makes sense that this is a text. It makes sense that this should be some sort of number. But which one ate it? What kind of user experience is this where I'm all like, hey, which user ate this? Oh, user 1. Does your user know about this information? Should you expect them to know about it? But what instead, perhaps, would you like to see? Right? You should probably see, like, what would make sense to me is like some drop down, right? And I can like kind of pick one from it, right? If it's like Pikachu, or if it's Charlie, or Jeff, or table, whatever, right? I should be able to like pick one from a drop down. That makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Okay. No, I mean, like, it takes like a second sometimes for people to like think through things. I just want to afford that opportunity for everybody. So what I want to do is I want to create this like drop down, right? Let's just say I forgot, or I don't know how to make it. HTML drop down. That's literally what I'm going to look up. Select tag. What's this? Okay, that's weird. Let's try it for ourselves and see what it looks like. Wow. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't that be so money? Yes. Yes. Yep, absolutely. Bloop. I'm just going to rip this right here like any good developer would. And then all I'm going to do is, instead of this input, I'm going to blast that. Bloop. And all I'm going to do is drop this in there directly, because I would like to see how it works and what it's going to look like. So far, so good. So let's take a look. Look. Oh, just kidding. That's the index page. How did I get there? How did I get to this /foods here? The redirect from the post, right? So how do I get back to that new? /foods /new. And there it is. Wow, name that food, cows, and this drop down, right? But obviously, I can't see this. Obviously, Volvo is just not like a great experience here because it's not really what I'm looking for. So far, so good. So, let's think. Can I infer what these are from the page, from my code? All right, can I infer? If you hit command and the slash that's above the return, you can open and close the drawer for your file structure, just to like give some more room, right? Where do you think this and this relate? Well, let's just test some stuff, right? Because that's what good developers do. Let's instead put old Jeff, right? Old Charmanderly, right? And then we have Opel Ali and Audi Wangtron. Cool. Let's see what happens. 5-star, right? That would be nice. So that's weird. Let's actually do this. Let's put Charmanderly, right? If they call you, that's going to be so money. What do you want to eat, man? Halal, right? Don't worry, he's busy, right? Charlie, stunning looking guy, 0-calorie diet, right? Oh, snap. Remember I told you about that deleting the submit form? Yeah, embarrassing. Yeah, don't worry, you'll know immediately. You don't have to remember to put submit because you'll see it. You'll see it. All right, cool. All right, Charlie, what do you want to eat? Round 2. Yes, boy. How many calories?
2.
You got to put me on this. Charmanderly, if I hit submit, what are my params? What do you think this last one would point to? Let's take a look. What do you think that last one will point to? What do you think the last one will point to? Right? Take a look. That's weird. Nothing. Suspicious. Well, let's figure this out. Oh, that's embarrassing. Let's figure this out. Ready? What we can see here is, we don't need this or this. What we could see here is name for name, name for calories, and then nothing came up here. The value the value, the name is what comes across as my key value pair in my params. Meaning, if I had in my text a name attribute that points to name and a value that I'm going to hard code, that's Ali is the best. All right, let's just see what happens. I see Ali is the best as hard coded. I can assume from this that the value, whatever the user puts inside this, is what comes across as the value in my params. What comes across as the key is going to be what's inside the name category. Let's prove this. Ready? Let's prove this. Let's prove this. And the value is going to be Ali is the best. Cool? So no change in the user experience. If I hit submit, let's take a look at my params. I have let's prove this, and Ali is the best. So the name attribute is going to be the key, and the value that's submitted will be what comes across as the value in params. Are there any questions on where the key and the value come from in params as it relates to the form and the input field? Great. So I'm going to change this back to name because that's ridiculous. And then I'm going to bully this. Right? So where is my name attribute in my select? It's not there. So naturally, I would not get any key value pairs coming across in my params, right? That makes sense. If there's no key, then nothing's going to come across as params. So far, so good? So where do I want to put the name attribute? Inside the select that has all these drop-down options. Do I want to put the name inside each one of these options, or do I want to put the name inside this overarching select tag that knows about all my options? I heard a lot of whispering, so I'm just going to assume that you're all correct because you're a very bright class. It should go in the select tag because the idea is that the select tag knows about all of my options, and this should never change no matter what I select. It should always be, this is the key that I want. So far, so good. This is the key that I want to come across my params. This is the key that I want to come across my params. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. When I have the name, remember when I changed it to let's prove this? What else do I need to create a food besides name, calories, and what is the third attribute? So I need user ID to come through as params. That's where I'm getting this user ID as the key. So, as we've discussed about what the value is, what do you think the value will be as I select each one of these? What comes across as the value attribute inside each of these selects? So let's prove this. All right, let's go back. Let's refresh. And let's put Jeff. Oh, whoa, sorry. Let's not eat Jeff. Jeff, what do you want to eat? Well, zoning. Fried chicken, right? Very good. And this is growing boy, right? Jeff. If I select Jeff, what can we assume the value will be as it comes across on params? Volvo, right? Oh, did it not save? Oh, I didn't save it. See this blue dot? Embarrassing. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I have to do this again. Sorry. Cool. I'll risk it. Risk it. Cool. Great. And there it is, user ID Volvo. So what I really want to do is change these to like 1, Guatemala, 2, 3, right? And so now the values will respond to this actual user. Does that make sense? Why I changed these values to 1, 2, and 3. Exactly. User ID is an integer, so I want to make sure I'm passing in an integer. So This would make sense. Let's do this one more time. Bloop. 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 Or whatever. Bloop. Right? 0. 1,000. Right? And if I put me, I should see what value? There it is, user ID 4. That make sense? How this came across? If I selected Audi Wangtron, the value of 4 came across as my params. Right? All right, hold tight. I'm a highway star. It's literally the next step. The question is, how do I make it dynamic? So let's do that. What I really want to do is iterate through all of the users that exist, right? So I want something like creating this option tag. Maybe if I had like all my users dot each do with each user, right? I want to be able to create an option tag, something like that. Ready? Let's get rid of this. It's embarrassing. Boop. Why didn't this highlight? It didn't highlight because of squid. Why didn't it highlight? Because I'm attempting to write Ruby inside HTML. So this looked like a Ruby. Let's fix that. Bloop, bloop. Oh man. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop. Bloop, bloop. All right. All right. 5%. Risk it. Cool. Great. So if I refresh, what should happen? Oh no. Oh no. Why didn't this work? Why doesn't @users exist inside my new HTML? That's right. Inside my foods controller, inside my foods new, do I have @users? Oops. Great. Did you see that? Do you understand? Check. Check. Why @users did not exist, and then I just added it, how I added it, and where I added it. Awesome. So now I get Jeff. That's weird. Why did I get Jeff? Because I have 2 users, and for each of them, I'm literally creating a Jeff select. Do I want Jeff in here, though? Maybe. Probably not, right? I mean, Jeff's the man. So user dot nickname. Let's try that. Huh? Second? Oh. That was not on purpose. That was my bad. Thank you for all catching that. So smart. Boom! What a fantastic user experience. Unfortunately, no matter what I select, what will be the value? How can I fix that? Whoa. Read my mind. So now you can see how we can check. Have you seen Chrome DevTools yet? All right, Command Option J. All right, we'll open up the Chrome DevTools. Right, you can also simply right-click and inspect, and it'll open up the Chrome DevTools. And what this will do is it will break down your HTML, your CSS, your JavaScript. But here I can very quickly use this selector, hit this select, and see inside my select I have 1 and 2. This is what it built for me. This is exactly what I'm looking for, right? So naturally, I don't need this anymore. Who was T-Dog? I mean, who gave the suggestion of T-Dog? Cool, what do you want to eat, man? What do you want to eat, man? Ooh. How many calories?
I wish it was 0.
Minus 100, right?
Yeah.
Nah. Super diet pizza. If I hit submit, I finally have an interactive user experience where I can create another object. Thank you. On those params, and I can do food.create with those params. So far, so good. And so naturally, where would I want to add that code? The code that I just wrote. Where would I want to add that food.create? Should I put it inside my users controller? Should I put it inside my application? Should I put it inside my model? The foods controller, great. And then which one should I put it in? The slash foods? The post? The get? Who thinks it should be the post? Absolutely, it should be the post. So here I would do food.create with those params. And then I can redirect to the food. I can also get fancier and put @food equals to food.create. And then I can just do slash interpolate the @food.id. Wow, where would this take me? What RESTful route will this take me to? Shove. Amazing. I am 6 minutes over. I'm sorry. But I did make it to battery. Are there any questions on how to create a form that will create an associated object in your database? Who feels more comfortable about doing those forms associated labs? All right, that's all I got for you. Enjoy your lunch.